I'm Marja, and I work here at the Defiance Public Library System in the Children's Department. I'd like to share with you some of the new juvenile picture book titles which are now available to you with your library card. Let's start with the title, The Power of One, written by Trudy Ludwig and illustrated by Mike Curato. This is a wonderful story about encouraging kindness. It displays very clearly that just one act or word of kindness can be quite powerful. One understanding smile, one thoughtful idea, one caring hug. All of these things can make a difference in our world. The author offers more information about kindness in the back of the book by including ideas for planting seeds of kindness in your community, as well as a list of websites and other recommended titles. We also have Danby Leads the School Parade, written and illustrated by Anna Kim. It's not just the first day of school for Danby, a young girl from Korea. It's the first day of American school. Danby tries to learn American music, dances, and games, but struggles to fit in, and no one will play with her. Then it's lunchtime. Everyone is interested in Danby's unusual lunch. That's when she finds the start of a friendship. This story is another wonderful example of how a little kindness can mean so much. For all you picky eaters out there, we have two new titles which may have you second-guessing your food choices. First, Little Green Donkey, written and illustrated by Anuska Alapuz. Donkey winds up with a problem created from his love of eating grass. You've probably heard the term, "you are what you eat." Well, from the name of the title, can you guess what the problem is? This is a cute story suggesting that perhaps it isn't best to always eat the same thing, but rather vary your diet. You might also like Fussy Flamingo, written by Shelley Vaughan James and illustrated by Matthew Rivera. Lola is not a pink flamingo. She is a fussy flamingo and isn't pink because she does not like shrimp. Or at least she thinks she doesn't. Throughout the story, she tries several fruits with colorful results, but refuses to try the nourishing shrimp her mammy and pappy continually beg her to eat. Eventually, Lola gives in and finds shrimp delicious. At the back of the book, the author provides some factual information about flamingos, as well as websites to find out more. If you have an appetite to learn about monsters, Monsters 101, written and illustrated by Cale Atkinson, is the book for you. This book will have you learning about everything monsters, from what it means to qualify as a monster and its biology, to what they do in their daily lives, to their history and fears. Yes, monsters have fears too. In fact, they are probably more afraid of you than you are of them. Once you have completed your studies from this book, you will be considered a monstronomer, responsible for continuing to study, protect, and care for all monsters. We also have Emergency Monster Squad, written and illustrated by Dave Horowitz. This entertaining romp will take you through the night of a typical EMT, emergency medical technician. Well, not exactly typical. There are a few minor differences, like these EMTs don't drive an ambulance, but an ambulance, and their patients aren't people, but rather a zombie, a skeleton, and a kraken. But no matter, this book is still chock full of information about the EMS, Emergency Medical Services, including a glossary in the back and why you should never ever tell them to have a quiet night. If you prefer animal characters to monsters, here are a few new gems. Soaked, written and illustrated by Abby Cushman. This one is a fun romp in the rain story. Well, at least it ends up that way, At first, Bear and his friends are miserable. Then he tries one of Moose's hula hoops, and his feelings about the rain are transformed. A sweet and humorous tale about finding joy in less than perfect conditions. Another story about learning to find a way to deal with unhappy circumstances is demonstrated in the book Cone Cat, written by Sarah Howden and illustrated by Carmen Mock. Jeremy the cat woke up and found something had changed. There was now a cone adorning his head. It bent his whiskers, blocked his view, messed with his cat senses. He was running into things, knocking things over, and he couldn't even wash himself. As the story unfolds, Jeremy finds use for his cone and even decides he likes it. This is the perfect example of making the best of an unfortunate situation. A delightful story. Finally, we have Playing Possum, written and illustrated by Jennifer Black Reinhardt. This book tells the story of a very anxious possum named Alfred. From the name of the title, you can probably guess what often happens to Alfred. Luckily, Alfred meets Sophia, an armadillo. She and Alfred find they are quite alike in their worrisome traits, and soon learn there are others that react strangely when they become anxious as well. The author weaves a quaint story about several types of animals with unusual behaviors, and even provides some factual information about them at the end of the book. Those are the highlights for Juvenile picture books this month. I promise you, there are many, many more new titles that we have at the Defiance Public Library System that I didn't mention here. So if none of these sound interesting to you, check out our website at www.defiancelibrary.org or visit us soon and let us help you find something that does.